Like we just found out, this is indeed going to be a best of 3 here now that we are into the round of 8, the quarterfinals, and best of 3s moving forward. Going to give them the go-ahead.
Arr.
Once more, guys, you can actually contribute to the prize. We'll just type !Matcherino in the chat so you can be part of the whole process. And here we go to Kings Row.
Alrighty, so this is going to be the first game of the quarterfinals. It's a best of 3. We have Winston, Alt, IRL. I'm probably... How are we going to shorten their name?
We can just call him Winston.
We can, unless one of their players plays Winston.
Yeah, that's a little confusing.
And also, they don't really abbreviate very well. It's WUI, not like UTM sounds like, okay, yeah, this is short and snappy. WUI, wooey, does not really sound appealing in any way, shape, or form. So these guys are going to have to reconsider.
Wooey versus Autumn, man. I'm down for this.
I don't know, man. Wooey. Here, wooey, wooey, wooey. I can't deal with this, Jake. I can't. No. Just now. All right, so defending first, we are going to have UTM. And it'll be no surprise to anyone to see Bunna as Mercy already making his way to the point there. Chubby Sue on Soldier 76. Raytech, I am going to be interested in spectating early on in the game to see if he can get a couple of kills off the mark as Reaper defensively. Cody is playing Symmetra. Ender, once again, is on Reinhardt. And finally, Dota Genius is playing Roadhog. An interesting warm-up, by the way, from Raytech. Looks like he's following the line to the waypoint and back. This is actually somewhat mesmerizing. I could watch this and meditate. This is soothing.
Just follow the line. If you ever watched Initial D, you know all about how important it is to match those lines, the optimal lines. I know there's the weeb chants in chat probably. And all right, well, we've got obviously our offense will probably make some changes. The Hanzo could be a reality, and it will be a reality for a short while. Just going to shoot a couple arrows and swap it up, going to Mercy.
Yeah, insta Mercy. Oh, and, well, we'll see why. I thought one of the players left, actually, but I was a spectator, so all is good. I was like, oh my god, what happened for just a second? Calliston, I'm particularly interested to see what's going to happen with this Zarya play, because ultimately, Zarya is a very, very strong, very high skill cap hero. If you use her shields well, you just have so much damage in the bag, and you can also get your allies into some fantastic places as well, where they can tank a lot of damage. If you don't, however, she is just like a naked tank. So you do have to be very careful how you use her. I'd like to see her use the shields on Winston as he jumps in.
Yeah, it's a good way to just build up a lot of power, doing exactly that. Getting a hard engage onto the point, but the Reinhardt is in position to shield and thwart any of these attempts. Winston going into the back line, seeing what he can do, but he is taking a ton of damage, will end up falling very quickly. And even with the Genji going in deep and Reaper, they're not making too much progress. They haven't picked off a single member here on the side of UTM.
And there is Cody coming on through, getting a couple of kills, allowing him to put a teleporter down. Raytech, in the meantime, on the point, using his Death Blossom. Unfortunately, though, he gets completely blocked by Reinhardt, forcing the res, actually, out of the side of UTM. Another couple of kills. They're actually taking down Zarya at the moment as well. And Raytech, I think, is going to be the MVP of that engagement.
Yeah, really nicely done. They have the teleporter in place. They did spend their res, but it got a lot of value, kept them from getting any progress on the point. And a great hold here from UTM, looking very strong in the early portions of the game. No hero swap up so far, sticking with the same offensive composition for the side of our friends at Winston Old IRL.
So, oh, hang on a second. Gubear coming on in with Genji, but Wraithform is going to prevent him from getting the kill off on Raytech straight away. Oh my god, never mind. As soon as he came back out, triple kill for him. He now contributes to Dota Genius going down as well. And this is an incredibly strong push from Winston.
That was beautiful, and Kofi landed an absolute monstrous ultimate there. Actually, two people coming through the teleporter at the last moment. They will end up getting picked off very quickly. Raytech and Chubb just trying to be a little bit annoying after they pop through the teleporter, but that has been cleaned up. The payload portion has begun.
Yeah, that was almost exclusively a bit of a delay in case the stopwatch ended up being a factor there, basically. So we'll see what happens at that point. So Winston now moving on through. Worth noting at the start of the game, they did actually have a Winston, but now they don't. So Winston should no longer be a name that confuses us.
Yeah. Okay, well, in terms of those meters, it looks like there's a good bit of charge here on the defense. We see Chubb is quite far away from having that barrage now that he is going to be playing on the Pharah. And Winston immediately going to be hit there with a nice ultimate there. Cody will end up falling. Ender here also collapsing, and there goes the Roadhog. But the resurrection is coming out here on the side of UTM.
Goober, oh no, he might be able to, he couldn't quite get all the damage done, unfortunately, because the Graviton Surge was actually met with a rival ultimate from Reinhardt, immobilizing the team that would otherwise have been able to do all the damage. They're able to get the kills in anyway, though, and Winston ult IRL are basically up 6-3 right now. Here comes the remaining ultimate from Goober. He's looking to chop, and wow, chop and change, Jesus Christ, that sushi blade absolutely tore through UTM, and I don't think they were expecting this at all.
No, this was a very, very decisive push here quickly on in. You know, and honestly, it's quite common to see the defense not push that far forward when it comes to that point here in King's Row. And that's exactly why. It's a lot harder to defend until you have that choke point right around here. And we'll see if they can mount the defense, but the payload is only 2.19 meters away from being captured.
And the, I guess the point, if you're thinking about UTM right now, is, hang on a second, how did we get to this point this early in the game? I think they were a little bit taken aback by how badly that team fight was actually won by Winston. They are struggling, to be honest, to push at the moment because all of their support players are nowhere close to the front line. So we're going to see Tickety, we're going to see Defunk basically move back and wait for the rest of the team to group up again.
Thanks for the assist.
Yeah, and this is a much more defensible point here for UTM. So I like their position so far. Their ultimates, they're sitting in great position. It's really just Dota Genius that's lacking the meat grinder, as I like to call it, of the Roadhog.
I'm hungry now. I had some really good sausages for breakfast.
I'm jealous.
Full English.
Oh my goodness, that's lights out there for Chubb. Goes down very quickly in that point, and we actually hear the tactical visor being casted from Hero. See what he can get done, not a whole lot.
Yeah, he does a good amount of body damage, but unfortunately he didn't really contribute to that many deaths. And now we have, oh dear, a double ultimate coming on in there. Cody with the sound barrier, followed by Chubby Sue with the Justice raining from above. But net result, really not a lot there.
Okay, again, we have another aimbot being used there, and it will be sufficient for the attack to grab the point.
That was bad, unfortunately. I'm going to straight up call that out as bad. Raytech used Tactical Visor, running up onto the payload with 3 people the other side of it.
Yeah.
He might have been able to kill 1 person at a push. That's all he was ever going to hope for out of that ultimate, straight up.
Well, definitely a tight spot here. 4 minutes left for the final point here on King's Row.
Yeah, and I think the way this map has played out so far, honestly, I think Winston are in a good position to complete in a reasonably competitive time. I think UTM may be a little bit guilty of being quite confident off the back of their last one, which was very, very comfortable. And then Graviton Surge immediately, oh my god, immediately followed by basically every single ultimate on the planet getting rushed down. Tickety and Bana, the Reses, were the only ultimates available at the start of that fight, so we'll see if they end up getting used. Bana, though, has gone down. Tickety still with his available, all 6 alive on the attacking team. The payload is about to reach the destination, and we will be setting a time from Winston Ult IRL.
Yeah, really great round there on the side of Winston Ult, because once they kind of found their momentum, they never really stopped. I mean, I do have to say on the side, once again, of UTM, there was a lot of positions where they overextended their defense, right? If you just kind of stick around those choke points, it's a lot easier to control that space. And they also seem to really struggle with that Dragon Blade of Genji. There were so many scenarios where he was diving in, as you saw at the very end, and getting almost too much value where there's nothing to truly respond to him and just kind of counteract that heroic or that ultimate ability.
I actually think that, I mean, I guess that's play of the game because it enabled them to win, but I think the Dragon Blade before they reached the second to last checkpoint was even more impressive, to be honest.
He just completely dismantled the entire team, and it looked like they weren't even touching him. Like
Sushi Boys!
No.
I once got a round of Sushi Boys in Twitch chat. It made me so happy.
You know,
but that is basically what happens when, like, Genji gets a really sexy ultimate off. So, fair play to the guys. And did we catch the time set there? Have we got the countdown going?
Let's see if Oh, Bonera was dropped out of the game. Well, you know, I did not.
Oh.
He's.
All right,
I
let me
forgot.
just double check.
Yeah. Yeah, they might know, and I will get a countdown.
No worries. Yeah, let's grab that countdown up.
6:30.
Yep, 6:37.
Okay.
6:37 is a reasonable time for King's Row. Like, it's a good time without being, oh my god, that's insane time. I believe the fastest King's Row can actually be completed, assuming, like, basically no resistance, is something like 3 minutes and 35 seconds. I haven't tested this in a custom game, but it's something in the region of that. And on the final point, there are chances for teams to get absolutely hammered as they walk on through, and you can attack really quickly. But usually it's the first point, capturing the point at the first place, where if the first attack goes wrong, it's very difficult for teams to switch up enough to get the second attack to work. You often find that teams either capture the point in the very first go, or it actually takes them 4 or 5 attempts. There isn't usually that much in between.
All right. I think I have the stopwatch figured out. We'll see if it works.
Let's do this.
This is our first attempt at doing an actual stopwatch.
It's the countdown to the countdown, and go. Hopefully. Did I just hear like a clock fall off your desk or something, or was that all right?
It's all right.
Okay.
I think I'm like a second late, but it's okay.
Good.
We know roughly that's how much time they have in the top right corner of the screen.
All right, here we go. We have Instant IRL now pushing through. Ender being very forward initially with Reinhardt, and there are no heroes behind him, so he is able to keep the shield comfortably up here. The question is he going to be able to push on through? Oh, no, he isn't. He gets eliminated by his counterpart. That was actually a really good lineup there from Kofi. If he missed that charge, it's really awkward for him because that puts him really offside. So killing off the Reinhardt and eliminating the shields for the rest of the team, basically the key there to UTM holding that first push.
Yeah, a nice start here. We'll see what the re-engage can do. Plenty of meter has been built up from the initial onslaught, but of course, Bunna well in the lead for the offense side here for UTM.
And Bunner at the moment, he's trying to damage Amp Chibisu, but I haven't seen Chibisu do too much damage so far. He's hunting for Mercy, not quite able to find him so far. And now moving up into the building. This is actually an excellent position to sort of stay on from the offensive side. And the only person actually defending against this right now is Goober on a Pharah of his own. So that's the early res coming out from Bunna. And oh no, Goober completely and utterly whiffs the ultimate.
Yeah, and we just saw the res come out here for the defense, but it doesn't look like it's quite going to be enough. The ultimate now coming out from Chubb, getting a nice barrage in onto the point, but we do see the Reaper able to shift them out of there. Another Roadhog ult coming out here, the meat grinder pushing back Chubb, and they managed to hold on to the point for the time being. But that whole engage was absolutely insane. We saw both Reinhardts initially charging to each other, favorable trade here for the offense, and then immediately in response to that was that both of the Roadhogs were ulting each other. Kind of a strange scenario.
This is exactly why they need to be careful as well. Oh, never mind. We have to re-engage here, and Ender here actually gets a kill on the board very, very early on. And Calliston getting killed on Roadhog. There's actually 3 versus 6 right now, and this should be enough for the offense. So let's talk about that engage a little bit more, Jake. Like you said, if both heroes take each other out on the first point here on King's Row, it's actually advantage attacking team because you actually get back to the point quicker. There's no teleporter available for the defense, right? So I think that in combination with the ultimates that were used to desperately try and hold off on what was basically a really action-packed sloppy engagement from both sides, that actually shifted the advantage quite heavily towards UTM.
Yeah, about 4 minutes left on the clock here, though, to finish the map here for our friends at UTM, and we'll see what they can do. The payload is making its way, but notice how we have Winston old IRL just kind of waiting back at this point. They're not overextending for their defense. They know this is the easiest and the strongest choke point for them to hold, and they're just patiently waiting for the offensive side to get it to them.
Exactly right. They want to make sure that none of their squishier heroes get picked off. We're coming in with Whole Hog, and actually the team are moving on back to make sure that they don't suffer any damage taken. What they need to do is prevent themselves from being split up. Oh, that's an excellent hook on Chibisu. Excellent from Calliston, even emoting at the end of it as well. Classy. And Ender Hero getting absolutely impaled. And here comes the tactical visor from Raytech trying to restore a little bit of damage over here. Managing to combine with Earthshatter very, very nicely there to take out Calliston.
All right, well, both of the reses have been used, but we see both Roadhog and Mercy chasing into the hallway, trying to get the kill on the offense. Roadhog, and during all of that time, Enter and Cody both get the payload secured on the point, and they're already marching on down.
That's the first time I've seen two Roadhogs kill each other with shotguns at exactly the same time. So Calliston and Dota Genius rest in Pepperinos. They're going to go ahead and slowly walk back to the rest of their teams. Of course, now the defensive team spawning much closer to the payload than the offensive team. Worth noting, as Raytech on top of the payload now, trying to push the last couple of inches.
All right, about over 2 minutes left here for the stopwatch in favor for them to capture this point. We'll see if they can do it. Chubb is going deep.
Oh, Raytech in behind though, and no one's noticed him there, and he's done an awful lot of damage onto Reinhardt and really disrupting the team. They don't know where to look right now, does Winston on IRL. This could end up being a play that wins them the game here. He picked off 2 players and got a third down to half health. Really strong initiative for UTM off the back of that.
Chibisu getting the kill there. It's just Lucio left. Defunct goes down, and that could be it. Yes, they beat the time and secure the win for the first game of the series.
Raytech, absolutely MVP there. I'm not sure if it'll make play of the game because the first 30 seconds of that basically did not end up killing anyone. And Bunna is going to get to play the game for a massive res. But at the end of the game, I want to highlight Raytech going behind enemy lines, managing to get 3 pickoffs while the rest of the team didn't know where to look. That was absolutely the reason they managed to capture the final point so quickly.
Impressive stuff, that's for sure. GG. So this is going to mean that on the side of Winston, Ult IRL, they will be able to choose the next map for this best of 3 series and see where they're more comfortable. Maybe they're looking for King of the Hill. Who knows? Don't really.
Sky.